What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Montana Method Podcast once again. Your host, as always, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., and this is the Takeover of the GMC crew. Stay tuned.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
How you doing?
This took some effort to put together. I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun.
You know, originally I was going to be on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I missed my flight. And, you know, this is so close to the airport, I decided.
Joe Rogan, sorry. Yeah. This guy.
All right.
Would have been the best guest on there.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, that's funny. As usual, we were late, but we made it. It's okay. Everybody's here. Everybody's accounted for. That's Kevin, half a box of pizza later.
Should have been a full box.
Everybody was done eating, and then he's like, "Oh, let me get one more."
Yeah, but I've never had that pizza.
I've never even heard
Yeah.
of Cuban pizza.
Oh, it's a thing in Miami, man. It's
It's
special.
crazy.
It's
It's
because
like they use like a whole block of cheese and just like it looks like regular pizza, but it's like they slam it. Like they take the dough and they slam it on the table, and they take like a jar, like a full jar, and they just slam it on there, and then just like a whole block of cheese, and they just put it in the oven for like 2 hours, and they're like, all right, pizza.
Yeah, but the crazy part is like it's what I was telling him when I came here. It's like Florida in general is like Cuban society. It's crazy. Like there's so many things that I came in here and found out that. Coming from Connecticut, you know, it's weird. So just coming here and seeing the amount of like different things compared to that place is insane, especially the Cuban pizza and the food.
Florida in general.
Miami's a different country.
Miami definitely.
Yeah.
Miami's a different country, bro. You need a passport to come down here. I tell people all the time. I'm not exaggerating. This place has a mind of its own. The culture's nothing like the rest of the country. You come down here and you're literally as close as you can get to being in a totally foreign body. You know,
You gotta be bilingual.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like
People,
you
bilingual in some
you try
places.
to speak. You try to speak Spanish. No, I'm sorry. You try to speak English in some places, and they're like, "¿Qué te pasa?"
Bro, the amount of times I've tried ordering a McFlurry from McDonald's. ¿Qué McFlurry? ¿Qué McFlurry? Tú estás hablando de heladito con cookie con Oreo. Sí. All right.
Let me tell you something. I think what a lot of people don't realize is how big Miami is. Because I come from the north part of Miami, and even me, I've never been around this part before. You know, I feel like I'm in a totally different country.
Imagine Homestead.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, man, it's like
Cutler Bay. Oh my
Forget it.
God.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a different planet.
in Connecticut, you have like it's literally you can go to the city next to you. It's like 5 minutes away, and like I would have we had it's called Bethel. That's where I went to school. It's 5 minutes away, and then like I'm in Danbury. It's like it's so close, and then you come here to Miami.
Everything is
Everything
so
is
big
so
and so far
away, and it amazes me. I'm like, wow, this is like a little country in itself.
If you ever have the misfortune of getting lost in Hialeah the first time you come to Miami,
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Bro, you're gonna find out.
bro, you're gonna find out real quick.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like it's not even as touristy as people think it is here in Florida. It really
That's more
is
Miami
like,
Beach.
Yeah.
It's more of
Yeah,
those
it's
areas.
Miami Beach, South Beach, Wynwood,
Brickell.
You know, Brickell.
Well, outside of that, like Kendall, Cutler Bay, Southwest Ranches, all that. It's just, there's regular
Ain't got
people.
nothing. Davie, dude. Davie is like Alabama.
I
Dog.
mean, and
like
that-
it's like no, I'm not kidding, man. You'll see some places, you'll see people using cowboy hats and boots and stuff, and you'll walk up to them, you'll be like, "Hey, nice costume," and they'll be like, "Costume?
This is how I dress.
This is how
This is how I
I dress,
dress."
young man.
Well, listen here, young whippersnapper.
And that's why like when you get people that call in, they're like, oh, I'm in Naples, and you're like, first time I was working there, I was like, Naples, oh, that's probably close by. It's like fucking 2 hours away, and I'm like, oh my God,
You gotta
man.
drive through the swamps. To get all
Yeah,
the
I
way
can go
over
to
there.
New Jersey, from Connecticut to New Jersey, and I'll be there. But this place is huge.
That's an interesting distinction about the northern United States and the southern United States. The states are huge down here. It's 5 hours just to get to Florida. And then up in New England, it's like an hour, 45 minutes. You're in Connecticut, 45 minutes to New York, 2 hours to New Jersey. Boston is a few hours away. Everything is just, it's not really all
Does
that far.
anybody live in Rhode Island or? Is that
Rhode
just
Island
like,
is like the size of West Miami. It's like the size of Coral Gables.
All right. Well, let me ask you guys this: like, would you ever live anywhere else? Like, is this like
is this in the country or
in the country?
I'm physically incapable of living anywhere else. I am so. I don't even know how to describe it. I suffer withdrawal symptoms when I'm away from Miami.
Totally.
Really?
Withdrawal symptoms. I get so home because I bitch and moan about complaining about Miami like everybody else that lives here about the traffic. And I just can't stand the people. And then I leave for 3 weeks and I miss it, man. It's just
If there's no place
No,
other
when-
like it.
no.
When you think about like the alternative to this is living in like Wisconsin. It's like
Imagine
do you even
living in
have
Alaska.
internet there, bro? Like
Men there literally have no balls from how cold it is. Like, bro.
Well, they pay a lot of money for jobs over there.
They
actually,
do.
in
Because
Alaska.
no one wants to live there. Nobody wants to live there.
Exactly.
All the Wisconsin fan you have, they're like, bro, why is he talking shit?
Nah, my boy Sam and his mother Jessica are probably gonna watch. They live in Wisconsin and be like, Nelson. Well, you're right.
Hey, man.
That's
let
funny.
me ask you, what do you like the most and what do you like the least about Miami?
What I love the most is my culture, man. I love being able to walk to the corner and get un cafecito, un pastelito, being able to talk to an old Cuban papi, the Cuban papi that sells fruits. Oye, Helio, ¿qué vuelta? No, ¿cómo está, people? ¿Cómo está, people? ¿Qué me cuenta? You know,
Yeah,
like-
that's a good point.
yeah. That's my favorite thing. My least favorite thing is the traffic. Hands
Traffic
down.
is
I can't even.
Traffic.
I can't even
mosquitoes.
I'll take the people because whatever. I know my people. Traffic, I can't, man. It's one thing I wish I could. If the traffic was perfect here, this would be paradise. It really would.
Yeah, no.
We need another pandemic,
Whoa,
just
whoa,
like-
whoa,
I'm
whoa! Knock on wood,
Yeah,
bro.
for real.
Jamie, can we cut that?
But
Oh man. So, all right. So speaking of roots, so we have the token Jew, right?
Okay. That's me.
And we got 2 Cubans and you're Dominican. No,
Yeah,
I thought you-
Dominican.
You know,
Dominican.
I
okay.
feel like I don't know if this is just me.
You're Hispanic though. That's funny
I
because
am.
you're
I'm,
Jewish,
like,
but
from
you're
everywhere.
Argentinian.
I feel like Kevin looks more Jewish than I do.
So I'm Teddy Roosevelt and a Jew? That's crazy. I didn't know you could be both.
bro, no, but for real.
Bro, it's just the glasses.
Like you wouldn't like imagine you're watching this podcast, you hear Nelson say the token Jew, you pause and you guess which one it is. I can guarantee you 3 out of 4 people are gonna get it
they're
wrong.
like,
Oh
that guy
my
with the
God.
glasses. Oh,
That is so yeah, because I didn't even point at Aaron, so they're like, oh yeah, so it's
Yeah.
This
Kevin.
guy.
definitely him.
That's funny. That's funny.
Honestly, share more similarities than I thought.
Man, listen, Jewish people are some of the most successful people I know. If someone says I look like a Jew, I take that like a compliment,
Compliment,
dog, straight up.
It is a compliment.
It is, man. Yo, so speaking of Jews, so
Oh great.
no, I'm just saying. no,
Here it's been 10 minutes.
listen, Kanye's taught me my lesson. I'm not. Yeah, we're not gonna go down that route.
No.
Tell me what's up.
So I'm wondering because I've only seen this on content and videos. And
Wait, okay, just really quick. I'm Jewish, but I'm not like crazy knowledgeable, so I'm sorry guys if I get something wrong, but yeah.
Doesn't have the braids, bro. He doesn't have the-
no, he's not an
Tell me what's
Orthodox
up.
Jew. I get it. So I've been told that within Jewish culture, it is common that Jewish parents teach their children about money and how finances work, and just they educate their kids financially at a young age. Did that happen in your case?
I mean, I guess so. I didn't really have anything like super crazy, you know. I always felt like, you know, that's just part of being a good parent, you know.
Right.
That's not necessarily like,
Right.
oh, because I'm Jewish, you know. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think a lot of kids, I mean, you know, they learn up growing about money, but it's nothing like, you know, so, what's the word? It's not so crazy attached, you know what I mean? It's not like you'll learn about it like in a Jewish school, you know, or like you'll learn about it at a temple or
Right.
something like that. You know, it's just part of. I think the thing about Jews is that we always have had a lot of really good family values. You know,
That's important.
yeah,
Super important.
That's
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the biggest aspect about making money when you're at that young age is kind of being taught, how to conserve money and how to spend money, because a lot of people, you get a lot of money and then you feel like you got to spend it all at one time, and And that's the problem is, I guess, in our society, especially in America, we're so accustomed to like, hey, consumer, you got to buy this, you got to buy the newest iPhone and everything.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're taught to conserve your money, it's for most people, they're financially ignorant, right? So they think conserving money or being conservative with your money is something that's like, oh my God, why would I do that? I want to live my life, all that. But if you think about it, man, being conservative with your money, so discipline spills over, right? I've learned that in my short 30 years in this life. When you're disciplined with your money, you learn how to be disciplined with your health, with your physical health. You learn how to be disciplined in your career, your business. All these things spill over. And then once you exert discipline in all these different areas of life, your life takes on a whole totally different facet. You know what I mean? It becomes a totally different game.
Yeah,
you know?
That's definitely true. I mean, at least for me, like from my experience, obviously I'm human like everybody else, but...
Preaching discipline to the Marines.
No, the thing about the Marine Corps is just that although people just see it as you're taking some people have different opinions about the military, but some people just see it as a scapegoat to some, when a young person doesn't know what to do in life, right? But the good thing about that is that, I mean, the Marine Corps teaches you how to become that disciplined person to be able to do something in the future, right?
Now you won't survive.
Because when I was in boot camp, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I had no idea, and it's not like I had an idea once I came out, but it showed me the foundations of having discipline, right? Like I would sleep at the correct time. I would make my bed in the morning, which is important, and I would just learn those little things. I think at this point in my life, right, I've kind of just learned that life is about habits, right? It's about habits. Like if you don't build those important habits and take it step by step, because a lot of people look at the mistakes that they do in life and they just put so much emphasis in that. Yeah. And then they're not able to move past that and continue the habit. But there's so many things that I used to do that it was just because of habit. Like I did not go to the gym at all. I was scrawny. I wasn't built at all. And it would be hard, right? The first day, the second day, but those little like everyday movement habits is what makes you the greatest, really. And that's my opinion. Like, I think we're just a creature of habits in reality.
100%.
There's a saying that I live by. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So the reason you're a disciplined man is because the same way you're disciplined to make your bed every morning is the same discipline you pour into your career. It's the same discipline you pour into the gym. And like I said, it spills over. So the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. People laugh about me when I tell them this, but think about what I'm about to say. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I can't walk into a bathroom and see toilet paper on the floor and see the toilet seat all pissed on. I clean it up.
Dude,
I clean it up.
Yeah, no, for real. It's one of those things that when you have those little things that, like, if you're an orderly person, you're not just orderly in the sense that, you're orderly with your work. You're orderly in every sense of anything in your life, right? Your car's going to be clean. You know what I mean? Yeah. Your room's going to be clean.
100%.
You see something dirty, you got to pick it up.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, man, it's one of those things that I have to agree with that,
That reminds me of, if you guys have been keeping up with the World Cup, I saw Japan, after one of their games, they were showing the locker room. They left it spotless. Like, you could eat off the floor. And I feel like the Japanese culture, like, I've never been. I know you've been, Angel.
Yeah, I was in Japan, and that's one thing that the Japanese they just excel at. It's just their cleanliness, their orderliness, and just their
discipline in general.
Their discipline, yeah. It's just the way that they... The way their society is built, I think carry themselves, they carry themselves in a different way, and I think that's why they're just revolutionizing in everything, right? In technology, in vehicles, in every facet of society, really, because they're so orderly. And the crazy part about Japanese people is that here, in America, you're such a singular. Like, people look at life in the singular way. They're like, oh, I want to do this for me, right?
Right.
Japanese people think about, I want to do this for my company. I want to do this for my father. I want to do this for my, my great-grandfather. I want to, keep the legacy of that company. I mean, that's kind of like the story of Toyota.
So you guys want to know, I don't know if you guys know this. You know what's the longest living company in the world? Guess how long it's been around? No. Yeah, right. Guess how long the longest living company has been around? Take a guess.
150 years.
No,
No,
it's gotta
come
be
on,
100.
man. That's
100's
like-
gotta be
All right, so your
longer.
guess is 150.
It's got to be
I think
longest living company. I gotta say, at least maybe like a couple hundred, maybe like 500.
500. What's your guess?
Man, I'm gonna take a long. I'm gonna say even 1,000.
1,000.
I was gonna say 1,000, but
1,000.
The longest living company in the world is 1,600 years old.
damn.
And guess what country it's in? Japan.
Oh wow.
And what is it? What is it to do?
I forgot the name of it, but I was researching. You guys, I don't know if you guys know, I'm writing a comic book.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm writing a comic book. So yeah, I have a lot of sides to me.
I had no idea.
So yeah, so
That's awesome, man.
That's actually really cool.
thanks. So I dove head first. I had already loved learning about other cultures.
What's it called? Like Miami Man or
No.
something?
Well, it's the first ever comic book set in Miami, so you got the
Okay.
setting right.
That's actually
Okay,
really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because so I don't know if just a quick tangent. I don't know if you know what's happening in the comic book industry, but this is the lowest recorded sales in comic book history ever. They're selling the least they've ever sold.
I'm sorry
Go
to
for it.
interrupt. Let me ask you a quick question. So when you say like comic book sales, that's also like virtual, like
Yeah,
ebooks
yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that, right?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Gotcha.
So they're the lowest they've ever been, and manga is outselling comic book. Yeah,
Yup.
kill it, good Kevin.
Kevin knows about that.
I know all about that.
Really?
Yeah, like it's to the point where, you know, something that was just originally just Japanese, very niche, is now basically exploding in the West, and Netflix is buying rights and this and that.
And
it's
where,
super
where's manga
popular.
from? Japan.
Japan.
Full circle.
That
You
manga's
know,
crazy.
I don't know if you guys notice this. Maybe it's just me, but every week that I go on to Netflix, there's always a new Netflix anime.
Yeah.
There's always
Trying to tap
some
into
new
that. They're trying to
Netflix
tap into
something.
it. It's a
Yeah.
booming thing, especially when back in the day it was like, oh, you're a nerd for that, and now it's accepted.
Yeah.
People, it's in AMC. People are watching One Piece movies in AMC
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Naruto or Dragon Ball, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So going back full circle to Japan, what I had always loved learning about other cultures and why other cultures are the way they are, and I dove headfirst into mythology because it's my comic book has to do with mythology, and some of the coolest things I really learned that everything is really connected. So every mythology is pretty much the same. Every mythology is every religion is the same. We just give things different names. We see things a little differently. We change the color here, change a date here, where it's all the same though. And it made me realize how similar we are as human beings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're very similar. And the only difference between a Japanese person, you know, a Cuban and a French guy, it's really just, you know, what we eat and the language we speak. We're very similar. Now, it goes back to what you said. The major difference is habits though, for sure. That's what makes the Japanese culture such a way of being, and why they're known for being such a way, you know, like they can't if 1 + 1 is 2, they're not gonna be like, maybe if I get 1 + 0.5. No. They're gonna find a 1 and another 1, and they're gonna make it equal to, you know. Whereas other people try to take shortcuts, they do it exactly how it's supposed to be done, and they get better at it, and they find ways to improve it. With Honda, I mean, I told you guys the story of the founder of Honda. That's crazy. You
Oh
know?
man, yeah. You were really passionate about that.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
story,
Because I admire greatness.
Yeah.
I admire grit, man. I admire fortitude. I admire people who, in spite of whatever difficulty they face, they go out there, put one foot in front of the other, and get back up after getting knocked out and punched in the face and getting their teeth knocked out of their mouth. Like, you know what? It's okay. It's all right. I'm going to get back up. I'm going to try again. And I just admire that. You know, that's why I love what we do for a living. Because we get punched verbally in the face every 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And it's
All the time.
People don't realize sales is simply who outlasts who.
Yeah.
Who outlasts who in this conversation?
It's a numbers game kind of
It
thing.
is.
It's all it
also.
is.
Yeah.
And all it is. And let me tell you, I hear people all the time, and Angel, his takeover calls are amazing because he is the personification of, all right, man, either you're gonna tell me to screw off or you're gonna come into the dealership, like, like there's no in between. Either
There really isn't any.
I mean, you know, when I do those turnover calls, I do that style, in my opinion, and I'm not as aggressive as other ones, but I just think at the same time, look, I trust my agents to do, you know,
Right.
what they need to do in the call. So I mean, my point of view is to be that person and say, hey, make a decision, right? Are you gonna you know, walk away and come in a month or 2 months, or you're gonna do this now? Well, that's
Red
life
pill
in
or
general.
blue pill.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
imagine Angel.
That's how I treat it. That's how I treat it, because at the end of the day, you have to be upfront with some people. I mean, your job is to kind of be the the hand holder, like, hey,
Yeah, I gotta kind of like butter him up a little
Exactly,
bit, you know,
and then-
and let him know, like, hey, you know, I'm not a robot. I'm an actual human being,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you
Good
know,
rapport with them.
yeah, exactly.
No,
That's what he's
Aaron's
good at.
another one. I love it when people. So, bro, if we had a nickel for every time someone said, "Yeah, I'll let you know,"
Oh my god.
I'd be a billionaire. The four of us would be Elon Musk rich by the time, you know, if we had a nickel every time. So, I'll let you know. I'll call you back. I love it when Aaron goes, listen, let's just be honest here for a second. You're not gonna call me back, and it's okay. I get it. Listen, you have a busy life. You probably got kids. You're married. I get it.
Yeah.
You're gonna forget. Let's just schedule a time. Let's get it out of the way. I know you're busy. Just in a perfect world, when are you? I love it, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. I love that.
It's because, you know, people can't keep track of everything, you know? And I tell people, I say, it is literally my job to call you back.
Yeah.
So you're not going to call me back. I'm going to call you back.
You know why I
right?
think that's so effective though? Is because it disrupts a person's like train of thought,
Their pattern.
their pattern.
Yeah.
Because they expect you to be like, okay, well, you know, when can I call you back? And then you're like, no, sir, look, listen, I know, you know, let's be honest, you're not gonna call me back, okay? So what are we gonna do? Okay, let's schedule something so that, you know, we get this out of the way and I don't have to call you again. And we don't have to bother each other.
You know, I feel like what I've learned the most through doing this, which is so surprising, is how much people really hate saying no. Like, instead of telling you I'm not interested, like, generally
I don't
speaking,
wanna buy
when
a
I
car,
call
yeah.
someone and I ask them, hey, are you still interested? No. I'll ask them one more time and say, are you sure? Maybe something else? They say no again. Okay, thank you for your
Damn.
time. Have a great day, and that's it. But people will take you through all kinds of loops of, oh, I just got I don't know, I just got on a plane crash, or like,
Yeah.
oh, I gotta
Lucky
pick
guy.
up my kids, and like, I don't have time, and I don't know, I gotta ask, like, no, my favorite thing is like, I gotta ask like my wife, or I gotta ask my husband.
that's the go-to,
and it's
yeah.
like, oh my goodness, like, just say you're not interested, you
Yes.
know, save us both some time, because the thing is, they feel like they're
Letting you down or something, you know? Yeah.
Exactly. No, they feel like they're not. They feel like they're saving you from like the disappointment. You know what I mean? But what's the reality? When people say that they are still interested, or that they just hang up on you, right? You got to keep calling them back again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
But what that teaches me about, you know, people in general is that, you know, people are just, they don't have the mental fortitude to say no. They can't say no. I feel like when you get accustomed in life, especially it's a child thing, right? Like if your parents told you, you got to be polite to people.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be nice.
yeah.
You got to always say yes.
Yeah.
You know, that's if you're taught that way, which most people are, you know, they're not growing up in a household where you learn to be dominant and say what you need to say.
I am a firm believer that that's why we're in the cancel culture era, because we care so much about other people's feelings that we just don't have the common sense to be upfront with each other. We are so worried about how the next person feels and who am I going to offend and who's going to get offended, and oh my God, forget about all that, man. Sometimes the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter who gets offended. You know, the truth is undeniable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people today, they value being nice over being honest. There you
Wow, dude. Yeah, man.
Hey, that's right there. That's a quote. That's a quote.
go. That's a good
They also
quote.
virtue signal a lot just to feel right.
Wow.
It's true.
You gotta spit
Damn.
facts.
Oh, it's just ever since like, I don't know, what, 2014, 2015, it's just slowly increasing.
Yeah.
To a point
Yeah.
where now it's, if you feel a type of way, you have to worry about how other people react to what you can say, you know, or feel. And even if it's not, it doesn't have to be the most extremist thing. You just, oh, this is how I feel. You know, it could be actually a popular opinion of two opinions, right?
Correct.
And then just because you're on the polar opposite, you completely lose that you know, yourself to that person, and then it's just, oh, I don't really, you don't exist to me anymore. It's like, how that actually happened with like people I know, with my sister and my mom, where it's just a political disagreement. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just, I don't really, you know, see your point of this. And again, let's just say people didn't talk for 6 months, which is crazy to me. It's like, yo, how are you not talking to
That's insane.
you're not going to talk to your
6
exactly.
months?
That's what this climate has done, though. It's been, and
Puts families
Kevin
against each other.
knows exactly what I'm talking about, because he's Cuban like me. That's what happened in Cuba. that ideology and those people who were trying to divide and conquer got in people's brains,
100%.
and they made you pick ideology over blood, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
They make you pick it's so brainwashed that you have brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers snitching on their family members, saying, "Oh, this person's doing this." Yeah, it's called the committee.
Oh my God.
In Cuba, you have the people who are communists. They go to their little neighborhood committee and they're like, "Hey, so my brother, I don't know if you know this, but everything is illegal in Cuba. Everything is illegal.
Eating cows is illegal.
Hey, my brother's selling red meat. Yeah. And then guess what? They got
Wait,
nothing.
you can't have red meat in
You
Cuba?
can't own red meat. You can't eat red meat.
Wow.
Yeah, because the only people who own red meat is the state. So if you got red meat, it's because you killed one of the cows, and guess what? That's state property.
Wow.
You get more time in jail in Cuba for killing a cow than you do for killing a man. You'll get 15 years probably for killing a cow. You'll get 10 for killing a person.
That's fucked.
Yeah. That's
And going back to what you guys were so astonished about, that's what happens in Cuba. This ideology got in their brains, and it made them pick ideology over blood. Like literally anything that they thought was going wrong, they went and snitched on a family member. It's crazy. And that's what I saw during this whole past 4, 5, 6 years.
that's crazy.
It's stupid. You see brothers, sisters, family members, cousins get in these disagreements, right? And not talk for 6 months. Why am I going to argue about some political figure that I'm never going to meet that's going to make no difference in my life?
Yeah.
And I'm going to get in a fight with my cousin that I've known since I was born. No, man.
but people make you believe that's how
Those
that
Thanksgiving
ideologies
memes
are important.
Those Thanksgiving memes where like the cousin
Yeah.
like, with their uncle or whatever.
The
he's
crazy uncle.
no,
that's
that everyone
like-
just and then it goes from happy family like yo what the like everyone's just talking shit.
Yeah, bro.
And it's like they flip the table. There goes the turkey. Oh my god! There goes the stuffing. You know, all over the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah, man. It's
yeah,
it's
people
a
have that
phenomenon.
mentality of like us versus them. And to
Yeah.
circle back to what you said earlier, what people need to realize is that at the end of the day, we're all human. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you were talking about. The only thing that's different is, where we are and what language we speak. But people are very similar. And I feel like if you really take the time to, listen more than like you speak.
And want to
Oh
be
my
right.
Right?
God, man, that's
You have two
right
ears
there.
and one mouth. Use it in the right
Exactly.
That's
proportion.
exactly what he's saying, man. If you take the time to listen more than you speak, you're gonna become just an intelligent and also well-rounded person. You're able, because a lot of people don't listen, man.
How many calls have you guys gotten on where you said nothing? And by the end of 4 minutes, the guy's like, "Man, I'm gonna do business with you. I really like you, man." And
Oh, yeah.
it's happened to me all the time.
You just let people talk.
You let them talk, and
That's
you
all
let
they
them
need.
talk, and you let them talk. And by
like-
the end of it, you're just like, "So when are you gonna pass by?" You know what? Something just cleared up. I'm gonna pass by in like 2 hours. I like you. Do I ask for you? I want to see you. I only want to deal with. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, Nelson, have you ever made a friend like, have you ever had people like say they're your best friend and you don't even speak? You just like. They're talking. You don't say a word.
Yeah, people will
And
tell you their whole
I
life
feel like I can
story.
connect with you, and you don't even share anything about
Yeah.
yourself.
I'm waiting for that one call at the end of like 10 minutes of them telling me everything going on. I'm going to be like, "Sir, you don't need a car. You need a therapist."
By the way, Aaron had just started a side business. It's called, Aaron Therapeutics. No, I'm kidding.
Therapeutics.
With those chairs, I'm gonna need
It's
it.
like, I feel
no,
bad. Oh, Aaron, I feel so bad. I feel depressed. Just stop.
Yeah,
No.
it is. No, man. Yeah, it's,
Now you help out.
you'll feel better in a GMC. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, man. It's so yeah. That's why I love what we do. You learn so much about people.
Yeah.
You learn so much about yourself, right? Because we face a lot of obstacles, a lot of difficulty. So you learn a lot about how you handle adversity, and that tells you about your character.
There's a lot of psychology.
A lot of psychology. It tells you what you need to work on, right? So, for example, when I first started sales, I had the thinnest skin in the world. I couldn't take any rejection whatsoever. And I was super sensitive, and I couldn't take it. And it taught me, listen, sometimes things aren't going to work out the way you want them to. Matter of fact, 95% of the time, they're not going to work out the way you want them to. That's
true.
called life. So you need to figure it out, pull your big pants up. You're a big boy. Stop complaining, adjust, find a new plan, and execute. And if that doesn't work, guess what? Go back to the drawing board, erase, read, and just do it again and again until it works out. Insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different result, right? So that's what sales taught me at a young age. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I started sales straight out of high school. I was 18 years old.
Wow.
Straight out of high school. I opened up a little. I got licensed in telecommunication services, and George from work. That's how we met. We were both involved in the same industry, and both of us were just two super broke teenage kids with a dream of making big money. And we went out there, and that sales turned us into men. We went in there as little boys, and we came out men. We learned how to speak to people. We learned how to communicate. We learned how to carry ourselves. We learned how to dress. Everything you needed to learn as a man that converts you from a little boy into a young man, we learned in sales, man.
And that's amazing. And I feel like that's one of the biggest issues too with modern society is that a lot of young men they're not able to actually be men anymore. Like you don't have those. I feel like you don't have those
because you need to
face or not even or adversities. Yeah, you need to face.
You need to face difficulty to become a man.
Exactly. I mean, I hate to bring it back to boot camp, but when I was in the military, man, I was a child, you know, and getting out of there, it's the first time you actually feel like a man, you know.
Angel, you want to know why? You want to know why we have this problem now that's happening like more? It's because society's telling us what is a man, what makes you a man. Mm-hmm. Well, anything can be a man. So that's why we're going. You know, we're coming out of high school. True, yeah. I agree. I think there is a certain answer like, oh no, this is a man, but because everything's go back to like, oh no, everything's a possibility. Yeah. It's like now it's like, okay, that's sure there are some things that are possibilities, course, yeah. But at the end of the day, there's also tried and true things that work and are just facts. Yeah. Right. So then when you know a lot of people nowadays, a lot of men nowadays, let's not say no, a lot of boys nowadays try to become men. You get kind of stuck in this like again matrix where you're hearing all these different voices and you get stuck in a bubble and it's just a bubble of oh no, you don't have to be that.
It's an echo chamber.
Exactly. Yeah, he brings an echo chamber. Yeah, that's a
fantastic point.
Yeah,
fantastic point. I think so. Me personally, that's more than anything. I faced so much adversity as a teenage kid that by the time I was in my mid-20s, I was a grown-ass man, dude. Grown-ass man. Not to offend anybody here, but I started selling when you guys were still probably like in middle school. Of course, you know what I mean? Yeah. So nowadays, when you see me working and I hop in there and I'm working hard and I have the numbers I have, it's not because I'm really good at I'm good at what I do, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is it's experience, brother.
Of course.
I've dealt with tens of thousands of people in sales. Tens of thousands. And it's a muscle, you know what I mean?
Of course, it's an experience, but it's also being able to have other qualities too. Because I mean, there's people that work sales their entire lives and they're still not good.
Because insanity.
I mean, I feel like you know, maybe this is just me, but like my dad used to do sales, and even my grandfather used to do sales. But when I say sales, I don't mean come into the office and like do it on a computer. No, my grandpa from Argentina, he used to go to on like the streets and he used to buy like shirts. You know, he would buy like let's say like 100 shirts for like $1 each, and then he would go and flip them for like $2 each. You know, and like 5 here, 2 here, 10 here. You know, 3 there, and even my dad like. You know, my family, we used to have a lot of money when we were in Argentina, but then, you know, this was before I was born. They moved to Los Angeles from Argentina, and, you know, they didn't speak the language. They didn't know anybody. Right. They lost everything. You know, they had nothing. My dad, he had, you know, maybe like $100 and a family of 5 to feed, and that was it. You know, they didn't have anything else. And he ended up doing the same thing. He was buying clothes, and he used to sell them one at a time. Until, you know, eventually he was able to... the reason why it closed is because they used to have a lot of big clothing stores back in Argentina back in the day. It was called La Tienda de los Locos. And, I mean, you know, I was just talking with my dad the other day, and he said, you know, if you would have told me like 20 years ago that I would own a house and, you know, I'd have a BMW and... my wife has a Mercedes and my kid has a BMW, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy, you know? But really, it goes to show that the hard work does pay off, you know?
100%.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, and I think that's really what it means to be a man, right? It's kind of like going through those struggles.
Yeah.
Going through those adversities.
Trials and tribulations.
Exactly. Sure. It's not easy, right? Because I mean, people tell you that as you grow, you're gonna be a man, but it's really not about I mean, there's points of people that are 20 something and they're still not men. It really is about those situational experiences.
Let me ask you a question. To like maybe to some of the people that are watching, what advice would you give to someone that wants to become a man? Like
I mean, be who you are, but also I think it's really about challenging yourself.
Put yourself in difficult situations.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
Purposely put
Challenge
yourself in
yourself,
difficult situations. Go try to get a 6-pack. Go get in sales. If you want a career, get into sales. There's nothing like it. The income potential it's limitless.
There's no top.
You can literally go anywhere in the world and make money. There's no career like it. We get paid a lot of money. We're the top paid career in the world.
It's the most important career in any company. Every company, 100%. Even charities, you need to call people to be able to donate for your cause. Everything needs sales.
That's also another aspect that I think going off of what you said. What somebody should do if they want to become a man is take your own path. There's a lot of people in society that tell you, you have to go to school, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be a doctor, and the reality is just not true, right? I mean, you have to do what it is that you're meant to do. Correct. And then you learn that by facing adversity.
Correct.
Right?
And by trying a lot of shit.
Yeah, by going through things, because you're not going to know who you are unless you challenge yourself and be like, okay, well, I wasn't very good at that. Oh, I'm at this spot, but now I'm actually kind of good at this, so let me try to, pick at this so I could get to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I think I can do this. I actually have a spot here. I feel like
you also have to try to do it with the right mentality, though, because some people will try to do it with the wrong mentality, because I've seen a lot of people who, they try to be great, do this, but using a selfish mentality of like, oh, I'm better than you because you're a narcissist or whatever. And that, like, maybe in the short run, it could lead you to some success. But in the long run, you're just going to burn all bridges and you're just going to crash and collapse. Whereas if you do it with the mindset of, all right, I care about myself. I want to put myself in these certain situations, and I want to bloom in these situations step by step, day by day, with the persistence, with the consistency. I'll get to where I want to go, and also enjoying the journey. Because if you don't enjoy the journey, you're not going to get anywhere.
No, so going hand in hand with that, so put yourself in difficult situations and have long-term goals. Because having the long-term goal is what's going to develop you, right? Because as long as you stay in the game of a career, the game of getting fit, the game of finding a significant other, the game of spirituality, whatever game it is you want to play, which I'm playing all of them, but life is multifaceted. You have different things you want to go after in life, right? So me personally, it's putting yourself in that difficult situation and setting a long-term goal, because I know longevity builds credibility, right? So as long as I stay in that game, I'm going to develop the skills. What happens if everyone quits the football team? I become captain by default. That's life. That's anything. That's any endeavor. You got to have the tenacity and the long-term vision in whatever you choose to do. I don't care what it is. You could, for us specifically, it's sales. The sky's the limit for us, dude. You know what I mean? I know, you guys know who Grant Cardone is?
Yes.
Of course.
He started off in car sales.
Yeah, he did.
As a car salesman, he saved up money for 5 years, and that's how he bought his first real estate property.
You know what I did when I first started working sales? I mean, it wasn't, it was this year, but I looked at every like live speaker that worked sales and anything that
most of them started in sales.
Yeah, and everybody that kind of has anybody that has the ability to communicate and speak, probably was in sales. Because that's what sales is, right? Your ability to communicate something to somebody else and why it's a good proposition on their part.
You know what I think is really important, and I think you could say this for every industry, but especially sales, is I think it's having a good role model. You know, looking at someone, the way that they speak, and being able to tell yourself, like, hey, that's what I could be like. You know, like for instance, me, one of my first sales jobs, I used to sell makeup, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, that was, and basically what it was is, I would drive. I was a kid. I was like 18, or I think I had like maybe just turned 19. I was 18 or 19. I used to drive up half an hour to my office in Fort Lauderdale at like 7 a.m, and every day I would go in. They would give me a big box of little bags of makeup, and they'd say, okay, today you got to drive to Homestead, right?
Wow.
So I would drive all the way to Homestead. Me and my little car, I would drive like an hour and a half, and I would walk up to strangers. I mean strangers, like in a gas station, in a random plaza. But one of the people that really inspired me, there was this guy that was named Terry. right? And Terry was so slick, man. This guy, oh my God. He's kind of like Matt from work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just really awesome. Just always knows what to say, you know, always has a smile, always. And it's crazy. There's people that I remember I would talk to them and try and sell them makeup. They'd say like, no, get out of here, you know? And then he would go talk to them half an hour later and they would buy. They would buy like 3 or 4 bags of makeup. And I think it just has to do with, I think the biggest thing about sales is getting through to people and letting them know that you're not a cardboard cutout. You're a person, you know, and just having a conversation and being able to make it, you know, let it be known that you don't have a bad intention. You want to be able to help people out.
I think that's a problem with a lot of things when someone's trying to sell you is that idea where it's automatically, you know,
They're trying to take my money.
They're trying to take my money, right?
They're trying to help me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But but you got to put it in the sense of like, you know, I'm trying to sell you something that's a benefit for you. You know what I mean? Like, you got to tell them that you want this, you know? This is why you want
You
it.
called me.
Yeah, you called
Exactly.
me.
In our
called
case,
me.
you literally called me.
Exactly.
You know? So you want this, so let me make it possible for you to have it, right?
I think it's so funny when it's like, so when are you passing by? No, I'm doing everything over the phone. Really? So you called me just to talk to me, to chat?
Exactly.
You called me because you want a car, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you about the car, and I'm telling you to come look at the car.
Yeah.
And then it's all of a sudden, it's that's car sales in our case. However, you can relate that to anything, you know?
Yeah.
Let me help you.
Yeah.
Let me lend a
Exactly.
hand.
So it's this industry has turned me into a man. I owe my life to sales. It's taught me so much about myself. I've grown so much as a human being, man. I can't even start to explain the amount of things that I've learned, the amount of books I've read, the amount of conferences I've been to. One of my first mentors, his name was George Zalicki. This guy made I don't know how much money he makes now. I don't even want to try to think about it. When I saw him on stage and speak for the first time, the guy made $1 million a month.
Wow.
$1 million a month. He had a business. He had a franchise business in Spain. He had a franchise business in 18 countries in Europe. Think about that for a second. So basically, think about overriding a continent. Like, you know, it's crazy. And he had his conference calls every night with his team was like, oh, okay, Spain, what are your numbers? Cool. Hey, France, what are your numbers? Cool. Hey, Italy, what are your numbers? When we were like, GMC, what are your numbers?
Yeah.
Ocean Cali, what are your numbers? Can you
That's
imagine
really
that?
amazing.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Imagine, you know, if the 4 of us owned a dealership, we were like, all right, the United States sold 150,000 cars this month. Good job. China, 200,000 cars.
Better. You can do better. Yeah.
So so that guy, I learned that I never forgot this. This got seared into my brain. He said, the definition of a sale is a transfer of conviction from one person to another. The definition of a sale is a transfer of conviction from a salesman to a purchaser, from a salesman to a customer. And from then, I understood it was like, it's just about being confident.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe more in what you're saying than what the person believes what they're saying, then they're going to buy. That's it. You know?
It always goes back to that. It's like, if you let someone convince you that what they're trying to sell you is true, then you already lost the battle.
110%,
You know?
brother.
That's essentially what it is, you know? The moment you say, okay, yeah, you're right. That's why you shouldn't buy the car. They won. You lost, you know, because you couldn't come up with a better reason.
I don't know if you've seen me on the phone. I practice this all the time. I learned this from Jordan Belfort. He says, whoever talks first loses. So you throw out your question and you shut up. You just don't talk. So can you pass by now or later on today? Let the silence be there. Mm-hmm. Because what's happening? They're processing something in their brain. Let them process their thoughts. Most of the time, it's like, maybe not today, but I'll be all right. I'll be there tomorrow. Like it's whoever talks first loses. It's a mental thing.
That's so true. I mean, that's why, you know, you have to be silent on those calls.
Yeah.
Like the key is don't speak.
We talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Some people try to be fancy and put all this. When you have a simple conversation, you keep it simple. What happens? We get a sale. It happens every time. Like, I know you guys don't know what this is, but those KBBs, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
We want to buy your car. When do you want to come? Oh, I'll be there right now. Boom.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Jose said today, he was like, you know what's so effective when you just say, oh, we're interested in your car.
Yep.
And that's it. You shut up. And then they come in.
Yeah.
Is that when you start asking all these questions like, oh, did you get an appraisal? And then you go to another dealership.
No.
Now that you're putting so many different things, different, aspects,
Less is
ideas
more.
into their mind. And I
You
always
make them
tell them,
question it.
you make them question it. You have to realize that it's about, you have to think about what they're thinking about at that moment. You know what I mean? Because what is it that you're putting in their brain that might have not been there when you uttered that word or that sentence? Like, whenever you say something like, did you go to that other dealership to get a trade? Maybe they didn't even get a trade. They didn't even think about that. But now you put that in their mind, you know?
It's like you overcomplicate it.
Exactly.
Less is more.
That's
That's another lesson that changed my life, dude. Less is more. The simpler you keep it, the more you're going to win.
Yeah, and that's true in so many aspects, man. Like, you can put that in simply just going to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, if you make an entire process of doing one thing, it really complicates things to the point where it makes it stressful. If you just say, what is my routine before I go to the gym? I'm gonna get the pre-workout, right? If you take that, I'm gonna drive, listen to my motivating music. I'm gonna go to the gym, and I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna do my schedule, and that's it. And you don't think about it. The more you think about it, the more you start putting your life into this action, the more complicated it gets.
Dude, preach. I'm telling you, less is more. That's another one that's another simple lesson that I learned real young. It just made sense. It made so much sense. I sold off passion when I was a kid. I didn't know anything. I didn't have any product knowledge. I didn't know how to talk to people. I was so excited about this career path, though. I was so excited about the income potential. I was so excited about not the income I was making, because I was flat broke, about the potential income that I could make. That it was
potential.
People bought off passion, just off my passion. And that's something I carry to this day. I'm passionate about what I do,
But that's why passionate people really are the ones that make money. They're the creative ones, and the passionate people are the ones that actually do.
For sure.
You can really tell who's passionate. You can, and you could also tell like when you're also passionate. And I think there's a lot of people out there that they do what they do every day, but like they just don't like it, And I think that comes back to what we were talking about with like being a man and really going out and getting it. Maybe you are, maybe you're working in like a certain career, and really in the back of your mind, you've always wanted to do this other thing, and realizing like, hey, we could be gone any day. If you're gonna do that, you might as well do it today.
Yeah, that's true. That's the important part, man. Is being able to do the thing that you're passionate about, really. Because if you're doing something every day, right? I mean, sometimes you're not gonna love everything that you do in life, bro. But you should try to put your life in a position where you are, even if it's making you less money,
For sure.
Even if you're wasting more time, right? Because happiness is honestly something that it's a virtue that you should have in your life.
I remember one time when I was selling makeup, I was going around to all these different plazas and stuff, and I used to sell these little bags of makeup. They were $22 each, right? It was some cheap like Chinese makeup, but I printed out like a little sign that said like Cosmopolitan magazine on it. I tried to make it like all real. And I walk into this like doctor's office, and it's full of people. I go up to the lady at the front, the receptionist. I'm like, hey, yeah, look at this. We're using makeup. No, it's not for you. I mean, you're beautiful, but I know you have a friend that's kind of like, And I'm like, look, over her, call her,
That's crazy.
and all this kind of stuff. And I spoke to them for maybe like 30 minutes, and I was there. Eventually, like the actual doctor, some like old guy, he comes, and I try telling him like, no, I mean, I know you have like a wife or a girlfriend or maybe both. I mean, I don't know.
but you know what? I feel like with you in sales, like you.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. You have to. You have to put on that passion. And you know what? Here's the thing. That bag of makeup was $22. Eventually after like 30, 40 minutes of me just sitting there talking to them, they're like, no, it's okay. I'm like, okay, you know what? Thank you guys so much for your time. And I walked out. And as I'm walking out, I walked maybe like 20 feet. And the actual doctor comes out, and he's like, hey, come here, like, let me get one of those bags. And he gave me a 50, and I go to give him the bag. He's like, no, keep it. Like, this is for you. Like, that's just like a tip. And I was like, oh my, holy crap. Like, really?
Yeah, man, because,
there's,
I mean, That's also a thing that you have to understand about people in general is that when you see passion in another human being, you gravitate other people. And there's admiration, right? When you have people that do their job and their everyday, routine, and they do it in the most sloppy and cynical, well, not cynical, but just angry way, you don't want to be close to that person, right? You want to be close to the person that's actually passionate and wants to be someone better, do something better, right? And that's why I feel like, when I see Aaron, I'm like, man, that's my boy, man. I wanna say what's up. I give him a hug and everything because you can see there's passion in it.
And let me tell you, that's why our environment is so important. The environment we work in, because we're competing. It's a healthy competition though, because you see other guys who are trying to get after it and they're hungry. You guys are gonna laugh. However, like I'm going to tell her one of these days, the reason I put up the numbers I put up and I work as hard as I do is because of Daniela. Daniela is constantly kicking my ass.
Yeah, she's always one step ahead of you.
Yeah.
Always.
And it's because she's always ahead of me and she works so hard. I love that about her. Like she's just a grinder and there's no quit in her and she keeps going and she's not going to beat you. She's going to destroy you, right?
Yeah.
So having that kind of competition around me.
And in ping pong, it's true.
And everything she does, right? How you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah. Full circle. So having that person who's constantly like one step ahead of me and working super harder than me and putting in more hours, that's motivated me, right? At being in that environment where people around me are just trying to get better. Let's do better than last month. Let's work harder. Let's make more money. Let's put up the numbers. That's so important. That's why people in sales tend to grow into different avenues and become these big business people, speakers, because why? It's an industry that constantly has you in a growth environment. You're constantly trying to grow, level up what you did before. So that's why this is such an important career path. For someone who has no idea what they want to do in life, get involved in sales, read some books, listen to some audios, go find a mentor, go to some conventions, go to some seminars. I'm telling you, give this 1 year of your life. People overestimate what they can do in 30 days and they underestimate what they can do in a year. Stop what you're doing. If you're living a mediocre life and you feel like you're not getting what you want out of life, go get involved in sales and do it for 12 months. Read books, try hard. Don't sit there and complain and bitch and moan and be one of these losers who don't put up any numbers. No. Work your ass off, read some books, listen to some tapes, watch the Pontana Method podcast. No, I'm kidding. Of course. Put up some numbers, get better, work hard, and in a year, you're not even going to recognize yourself. I'm telling you, you're going to be making more money than you've ever made. You're going to be speaking better than you've ever spoken. You're going to be around better caliber people. You're going to learn how to dress. You're going to learn everything about you that you want to learn. You can learn in this industry because it's an industry about growth, about getting better, about leveling up. And that's why, me personally, I have a lot of big dreams in my life, and it all started because I decided to take this career path. My comic book, I want to write a TV show. I want to turn this podcast into the biggest thing I can. Why? Because I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to get better. You know what I mean?
That's so true, man. It's Nelson
that
has
passion
that.
Applause, man.
Oh my God.
Thanks.
That was really nice.
Thanks.
I think, I think that's such important, right? Being able to actually have goals, right? I'm gonna bring it back, because really, before I ever put goals into my life and I actually try to work on things that I wanted to improve, I was always, in my shell, and I wasn't able to speak. I didn't know how to actually say, well thought out sentences, and I just, I didn't know how to do anything. I wasn't knowledgeable, right? Until 1 year, I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read a book every month. That's how I started. I was like, I hear it all the time. Let me just try it. Something that's just interesting to me. I love psychology, right? So I just started reading any book about psychology, and I did that for 12 months. And I didn't push myself. I did believable goals, right? I said one book every month. That's it.
More than doable.
That's more than doable. I can do that.
That's if a page is the average book is 250 pages. I mean, if you read 5-10 pages a day, you'll be done with it in 3 weeks.
Jamie, could you pull it up? See how long the average book is.
No, but for real, after I did that and I was able to accomplish it, right? I felt like I almost evolved as a person.
You did evolve,
right? And I was able to you know, at least I learned so many new things, ways to communicate, new words, and just new ways of thinking, right? And so many. That's why I love reading about psychology or philosophy, is because it's really not about like learning a way of life. It's really learning about how to think differently.
Yes.
People have such it's about the perspective, because sometimes people have such a perspective that is just not
too narrow.
Too narrow, not real.
Yeah.
Right? Not actually driven by something that you see every day or even makes sense, right? Sometimes people think about common sense and they're like, oh, people should know this, but a lot of people don't know how to think.
It also leads to you learning more about yourself when you go into all these different perspectives and psychology or philosophy. When you like go through all these different perspectives and you read it, you're like, wait, does this apply to me? Like you start seeing more aspects of yourself that, like, there's something in psychology where like the version that you know about yourself isn't the version that the other person knows about you. And there's also the version that you don't know about yourself that they don't know about you either. It's the subconscious, and the one that you don't know, but the whole rest of the world knows.
Yeah. If you ever want to like read a book that really goes deep into like, you know, I mean, theories about the mind, and it's Carl Jung. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Carl Jung. Carl Jung.
I don't mean to be that guy, but I haven't. But
It's okay. It's okay. But Carl Jung has some of the best like theories on psychology.
Yeah, he's legit.
And he was written off by the scientific world just because he was leaning really into the fantasy and more not scientific types of psychology, and people wrote him off for that. But if you read some of his books and a lot of the stuff that he was learning, he was the one that created introverted and extroverted people. Like he was the one that founded that. I mean, he worked with what's his name, Freud. Yeah,
Sigmund Freud.
He worked with Freud, but really a lot of their same theories were created in tangent. You know, they worked together. But Carl Jung just went through a different path. And he really teaches you about like how your mind is more than just a organ. Like it's more spirituality to living life, right? There's a thing he says that it's called synchronicity, right? It's when things happen in your life that look like patterns, but people write them off. And usually when those things happen, it means that something important is going to happen in your life, right? It's like when people play the number that they see, you know, all
In
day,
a dream
right?
or whatever,
Yeah, in a dream, or like they see the number, you know, 27 all day, and then they write,
and they put it in the lottery.
Yeah, but it's kind of that idea where it's like there's certain things in our life that you stop, and it catches your attention, but we tend to ignore it.
Yeah.
Instead of actually saying, hey, let me write that down, or let me like make sure that I remember this moment so that I can see what the importance was. Because we don't understand how our mind reacts to reality.
Yeah.
Right? So those little moments where you're just, awestruck and something touches you and you're not sure why, you have to pay attention to them, because we're not sure what this reality is.
So about 10, 11 years ago, I had a mentor tell me something that blew my mind. I never, this changed my perspective and the way I thought forever. He said, Nelson, he picked up a water bottle. It was just like this. He said, Nelson, you see this water bottle? This, before it was ever solid, before it was a piece of plastic, it was an idea in someone's brain. And that's how everything that has ever existed started out, as an idea in someone's brain. So if this started out as an idea in someone's brain, and this book started as an idea in my brain, and this microphone started out as an idea in someone's brain, why can't your dreams and the things you want to accomplish in life become a real thing, just like this water bottle? That blew my mind. When I figured out that, holy shit, everything around you was just an idea. It was a dream. It was someone's dream to start Zephyr Hills.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's crazy.
Think about it. Even people.
Yeah.
I was an idea in my parents' brain, and now here I am.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not an idea.
Sometimes you're not.
Sometimes you're a happy accident.
No.
Sometimes you're found in a trash can. You know? It is what it is.
No, but
Thanks for demonetizing my channel, Kevin. Appreciate it. Thanks.
So my mom told
Jamie,
me.
can we cut that? Jamie, can we cut that? My sister told me one time that I came in a FedEx box, and I don't know if that's true, but I mean, it was.
I wish, bro. I was in a...
What, UPS?
No, bro. Literally a trash can across the street.
No.
Anyway, all right. There goes my monetization, guys. Thanks, bro. Thanks, Kevin. You're never getting invited to my podcast ever again in your friggin' life, bro. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
No, but man, that's so true.
Yeah.
The idea is that it's just your mind. Has the ability to.
I think you know what it comes down to. Really, it comes down to like understanding yourself. You know, and that's the key to everything. You know, that's like I was talking about emotional intelligence the other day with you.
Yeah.
That is just. You know, that also ties back into discipline. It's how you manage yourself. It's how you manage your emotions. So if you want to do whatever, get into sales, go to the gym, you know, get married, you know, whatever it might be that you have to do. I feel like something that's really important is looking intrinsically, you know, and being able to understand, you know. A lot of times I'll have it happen where, you know, I'll give you an example. Like maybe, you know, someone comes up to me and is about to say something, I'll be like, oh, this fucking asshole. And then I'll be like, you know? Yeah. And then I'm like, wait. Let me, like, take a step back and, like, okay, see, like, what's going on, you know?
Right.
And it's just, like, noticing those kinds of things and being able to improve. And it's the same thing with sales when it comes to, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
It comes down to, like, you know, when I was in my last job, I didn't have like a script or anything to go off of. No, I used to suck ass for like a while, and it wasn't until like I was like, okay, why do people keep hanging up on me? And it's like, okay, they usually hang up when it comes to like the pricing, for example, right? So I'm like, okay, let me reword this, right? Let me change it around, and you know, maybe I'll like say it more towards the beginning to save time, you know, or I'll say it in a different way, you know, instead of saying, hey, it's you know, it's $75 per whatever, I'll say, hey, look, it's $0 down, so you don't have to actually pay for anything until like after, and then they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, you know, even though it's the same thing, you know.
And something interesting, and it coming full circle, right? Yeah. So people don't realize that your life.
Can't drink your water.
I'm sorry. Because Kevin's doing no talking. You have plenty of saliva. Anyway, no.
You could have this one.
Hey, bro, I'm the rookie here. I gotta listen. No. I gotta take in the information.
Yeah, there we go. Young Padawan. So check this out. So going back to the growth topic and coming full circle, so we can wrap up. Most people don't realize that this life you want, if you want to make $1 million a year, if you want to have that Lambo, if you want to have that 6-pack, if you were the person who's capable of doing that already, you'd have it, right? So what needs to happen? Either A, you need to change what you want in life, or B, you need to grow into the person that's capable of doing that. So going back to what you said, what happened with him? He wasn't selling. So instead of quitting and changing, I want to just do something different, he changed his approach and he grew into the person that was capable of making a sale. It's universal. That's what life is. So the universal story of life is the hero, he realizes he has a challenge and he realizes he's not capable of doing it, and he keeps transforming himself until he's capable of conquering the dragon. That's life.
That's Carl Jung. That's Carl Jung's idea. The idea that as humans, we all live kind of like these ideas of you know, when you watch a movie, for example, right, and you see a Marvel star, right, and you see Tony Stark saving the day, right, we look at that and we aspire to be that. And the reason why it sells so much is because deep down in our hearts, we see something that reflects that we want to be that person, right? And that story of the hero is really the story of everybody, right?
The hero's journey.
And the hero's journey, right? And that's something that we all go through and we all are trying to do. And there's always going to be a villain, the dragon. It's the dragon, the big dragon that's going to ruin the story.
But it's seeing the struggle that these heroes go through. Like, you know, Spider-Man, when his uncle died, or you know, in the last movie, spoiler warning, by the way, in case you haven't seen the last Spider-Man, was it No Way Home?
Yeah.
No Way Home. All right. You guys have seen it, right?
I'm the biggest Spider-Man. I was Spider-Man for 10 years in a row.
Okay, so like when his aunt dies and it's like you see him, and like, of course, they make it seem really dramatic, which it is, but you see him with like the light and he's carrying his aunt and he's like, no! And then, you know, a half hour later, he's kicking the bad guy's ass. You know, it's about seeing that, hey, you know, Spider-Man had this issue too, you know. I've also got issues. So it's like, I'm going to work through them.
And how did he evolve?
Through hard work.
Through difficulty.
Exactly.
Adversity. It goes, all this whole conversation, it comes full circle. You need to face adversity to grow. You need to face adversity to grow.
Of course.
So I'm gonna tell you a great story. So I was in California. I woke up in a penthouse suite and I had some breakfast set up already. It was really cool. The maid was super hot. I didn't do anything with her, but it's nice to be
Thanks
served.
for adding that detail. I'm glad that you added that detail.
Yeah, I didn't do anything with her, but it was nice. And then, we ate breakfast. I went downstairs, met up with my homies on the beach because the penthouse was across the street from the beach, right? We started surfing, met up with some chicks, really nice girls on the beach, and we went to go eat some surf and turf, right? The surf and turf. That's not a fucking story. There's no difficulty, bro. That's boring. That's not a story. A story is, I'm this guy. I want to get this in life. I have to go through this guy. They beat the shit out of me. I want to quit. I find a way to make it happen, and guess what? I make it happen. That's the story.
You know what's crazy is that you were telling me that story, and I could not remember the first thing that you
No, me neither. You lost me at the maid was kind of hot.
That's not a story. That's
not a story, yeah.
That's a perfect day with no difficulty. And guess what?
Yeah.
That's boring.
But, just to bring it back onto, that idea of the hero is that we do live our lives in a hero story, right? We like, all of us live, whether you recognize it or not, we live our life in a beginning, middle, and end. And that's how we like to orientate our stuff. That's why we love movies, right? Like that story you just did, someone can see that and they don't see any actual, issue or story. They don't see an actual, like, what are we getting to? What is the issue? And what is the objective, right? There was nothing of that, right? But in our lives, we see that we see objectives and we need to conquer that.
Yes.
And you can't run away from that idea, right? We all think that way. So you always have to see is like our minds are a lot more complex than you even realize, right?
Yeah.
How about you say something now, Kevin?
About what?
So I'm gonna wrap up and I'm gonna start with Kevin. I always wrap up asking the same 3 different questions. I'll start with one of you. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna ask the 3 of you the same question, then the 3 of you the second question, then the 3 of you the third question.
Okay.
So I'll start with Kevin. So the first question: what inspires you?
What inspires me? Now, that's a deep question. I would say there's across my life, there's been many inspirations, but at the end of the day, the biggest inspiration is also just...
You're an asshole, bro.
It's just like...
Bro.
Dude, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna let you continue, but it's like, what he said, that's a deep question. I feel like you're like, shit, what do I say now?
I'm only laughing because everyone's looking at me, bro.
I'm so sorry.
It's true, though. It is funny.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yo, they're dying. I love this. Bro.
No. You give Kevin the chance to talk and then Aaron's like...
No, literally.
so sorry.
Hey, bro.
No, please.
Aaron, you fucking asshole, bro. Sorry. I can't stop laughing. Oh my god. Laughter is the best medicine. Oh my god.
You took it away from me.
All right. Let Kevin say.
Fun fact before I let Kevin. So I don't know if you knew this. So when you worry,
fucking crying.
When you worry and when you're stressed, your immune system gets weakened for 24 hours. When you laugh, it gets boosted for 4 days. Oh man. All right. Continue. Kevin, what inspires you?
Aaron.
Thank you.
No.
Jesus.
No.
Okay.
Nah, but for real, what?
No. I've taken enough.
Listen, it's your question. Come on, it's your turn.
What really inspires me? Okay, for real.
Seriously.
What really inspires me is I don't want to die with regrets.
Now who's the fucking asshole? Yeah. See?
I'm sorry. Go.
I don't want to die with regrets because if you die with regrets, then your life wasn't lived. And too many people are out here surviving and not living. And another thing is I want to be able to give back to those who gave to me and invested in me when I was coming up. Because if you don't give back, then what's the whole point of like coming up, being narcissistic, all that, when there's people that really like put all their energy and love and effort into you? Like they deserve some of that back, in my opinion, because it's just it's just there's like a law, like equivalent exchange. Whatever they give to you, you got to give it back. So that's pretty much what inspires me. I want to take care of the people that.
All right, I'm not gonna ask Aaron next because Aaron's just being
dying
a douchebag at this point.
That was just so.
Bro, this is supposed to be the most motivational part of my podcast, bro. This guy. Anyway.
I'm so sorry. I'm not usually this much of a dick, like not like off camera.
Anyway.
Wait, man.
So, Aaron, what inspires you?
Oh shit. Okay. Honestly, I gotta say it's my family, man. You know, like, luckily, you know, I was always, you know, in a good situation. You know, I always had food on the table. I had toys to play with when I was young, you know. But, you know, hearing the story of my dad, and he would always tell me all these, like, stories of, like, how hard he pushed himself, you know, for his family, that really, like, inspired me. Like, I remember just the other day, listen to this. We were talking about when I was younger and how he used to take me to Costco. And, you know, they have those, like, little $1 pizzas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
For the slice.
I never used to eat the crust as a kid. And when he was hungry, he would take me to Costco and he would only have, like, a fucking $1. He would buy the pizza, so I would leave him the crust and he would fucking eat that.
Wow, man.
Isn't that fucking nuts?
That's
and I was
wild.
like, holy shit. Like, this, you know, that... What do you even say to that? You know,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like, Dad, I'll fucking order you a pizza right now. Like, now I'm grown up. I got the money here. What do you want? You know, olives.
All the toppings.
We'll never be able to repay what our parents do for you, man.
No, exactly. And that's something that I feel like I've always struggled with. I'm just like, man, you know, I really, like, I want to buy my mom a house. I want to buy my dad a house. I want to, you know, do all this shit for them. And then, you know what they told me? They said, don't do it for us. Do it for your kids. Do it for your wife. Do it for your family. Move our legacy forward, you know. I know Patrick Ben David had a really awesome.
I love his channel.
It's really awesome. And he said, I'm sorry if I fuck it up, but he said something along the lines of, you know, in the Torah it says that a man has 3 goals. It's you know, have a family, write a book, and plant a tree.
Yeah.
Because you know you want to. You know, the things that we're not going to be here forever. You know, the things that we do, the books that we write, the movies we make, the trees we plant, the kids that we have, the ideas that we have. Those are the things that are going to move forward when we're not here. You know, so I don't know. I thought that was inspiring as fuck. So,
Angel, what inspires you?
I think to summarize it, would be overcoming adversity. That really does inspire me. You know, you see people that have stories, Arnold Schwarzenegger, people that came from nothing, you know, and had everything against them, and they still made something out of nothing.
In the biggest way possible.
Yeah, and that really is what inspires me to do everything I do every day. You know, I have my parents, I have my grandmother, people that, you know, have nothing at all, and they're able to make something out of nothing. And that's what motivates me, right? Listening to all your stories, listening to other people that I've always met through the military. You know, you get a lot of perspectives, and I see all these lives, and I think, wow, overcoming adversity is really what keeps me pushing, right? Because once you see someone doing something, you're like, I gotta push harder. Yeah.
That's awesome. Second question. Kevin, I'll start with you. What's your dream?
What's my dream? Well, I would say, like, across, I've had a lot of dreams, but at the end of the day now, my real dream at the end of the day is to actually have a family that, you know, isn't just drama. It's real, you know?
you're a fucking asshole, Nelson.
Yo, fuck you, man. You saw the face he put on me. He was like,
You kill me, bro.
I'm just trying not to, and like,
See, that's the problem. You have to let it go. You just have to let it out.
I'm trying to.
like fucking Austin Powers over here.
Okay. Go ahead.
Finish, please.
So yeah, I just, you know, want to be able to build a family that everyone actually trusts each other, cares about each other, and actually leads to my kids, you know, reaching their full potential. It's too many times people have been in families or been whatever, like in certain situations in life where it just holds you back, and I want to be able to lead my family and my friends, all the people I care about, to the point where I give you the opportunity for you to become the best version of yourself.
I like that. Aaron, what's your dream?
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, you know, I feel like for a long time my dream was, you know, basically save up money, buy real estate, rent it out, you know, collect passive income, and then figure it the fuck out from there.
Right.
I think that's nice and all, but I think really what I want to do is help people, you know, in some way. I haven't exactly figured out what yet, but it kind of circles back to what I was saying earlier about what inspires me, and it's about doing good for others, you know. At the end of the day, you know what, there is a story that I heard about the king that had like 5 wives, and it went something along the lines of, I'm probably gonna fuck this one up, but it went something along the lines of he had 5 wives, and you know, one of them was like the most basically, shit, you know what? Never mind. Fuck it. You Google it. If you know, it's a good story.
My dream is for you to learn how to Google shit. All
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Okay, Angel, what's your
I'm gonna
dream?
look it up and I'm gonna bring it up next time on the podcast or
for it.
something.
My dream would probably be to inspire a group of people. Like I just wanna be an inspiration to somebody. If it's my son, if it's, you know, a colleague, if it's anybody really. I just want people to, you know, because I feel like when you're a young man and you're younger, I feel like when I was young, I would be pushed over, you know, because I didn't know much. And as I grew up, I realized that my dream is really to be, you know, inspire others. That I did something and someone wants to do or follow that same footstep.
That's awesome. Last question. So, Kevin, what's next for you?
I mean, for the next 5 years, I honestly see myself in sales, just because I feel like it gives you the best skills to not just tackle, like, you know, people, but also just other aspects of life. Because once you know how people work, it really leads to everything else. Like,
sure.
you're surrounded by people, and it's what makes up most of your life. So at the end of the day, if you learn how to, you know, I don't like saying manipulate, but if you know how people work and you know how to make them, like, you know, see your side and, you know, see where you're coming from, it's really powerful, and it leads to you. It's like not just knowing how other people work, but how you work yourself. So for the next 5 years, I kind of want to stay in sales, but at the same time, I do want to venture out and try other things. Like, again, I said I want to do my own podcast. I want to do that again.
What's funny about that?
I'm
dude?
sorry.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I want to do my own
Continue.
podcast again, and
Yeah.
and just
well,
try new things. Like when you showed me the kickboxing thing, I want to do that. I want to do that
Yeah,
too.
Kickboxing.
yeah, I was an amateur fighter for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was great for me, bro. Very therapeutic. Yeah. Very therapeutic. Martial arts is it's a great way of self expression for sure. So I'll refer you to some good people whenever you're ready to do that.
No, for sure.
Aaron, what's next for you?
I think part of it is just you know, you always got to keep going. You got to keep learning. There's a really good quote by I think it's David Goggins that he says, like, you know, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you climb a mountain, you got to find a bigger mountain kind of thing, you know? Right now I'm in sales. I've been doing sales now for like 6 years, something like that, 5-6 years. And it's something that I want to continue doing. You know, I could see myself in this industry for easily another 10, 20 years. It's something that I really want to get good at. You know, I feel like, you know, different people, they have like art and, you know, different kinds of arts or hobbies or, you know, things that they do. Like, you know, maybe they play guitar or whatever it might be. And I feel like sales is really an art, you know, and that's something that I really want to get good at. And I think that just comes through experience and through time.
Yeah. There's a classic book by Tom Hopkins called The Art of the Sale. I recommend it to everyone who hasn't read it. Sales really is an art form. And I'm gonna let Angel wrap up. I'm gonna ask him the same question, and then I'm gonna say something just to wrap up. So what's next for you, Angel?
Nah, that's hard, but I think mostly just educating myself, man. I just want to learn more about stuff that I haven't learned yet. I think that's primarily what always goes around my head. It's like, how can I be in other positions that I haven't been in the past? And I think that's really what I'm just looking for at all times. That's kind of a you know, an objective, broad, but that's really, I can't really give a specific one, you know.
So to answer a question that Aaron asked me before we started the podcast, he said, "What is the Montana method?" The Montana method is my way of life. It's who I've become. It's the way I live, and it's my legacy. So, to embody basically everything everyone said, what's next for you? This is what is for me, what is now, what has been, and what's going to be. So, the Montana method is just what I want to leave behind, and it's my kung fu, and I hope to teach it to as many people as possible. That's what's next for me. So, guys, this has been amazing. Thank you for coming. It took a lot of effort to put this together.
I gotta pee so bad.
So, just to wrap up, Aaron, how can people connect with you?
I don't want to give my phone number out.
Social media.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. That's Aaron Abaid. That's AARONAB like boy, EID.
Kevin, how can people connect with you?
Again, my Instagram is KCELO_925.
Cool. Angel, how can people connect with you?
I barely even go on social media, but
Yeah, me too.
Angel Cabrera XO at Instagram, something like that _. And
You don't even remember your username?
I don't even remember, man. Like I barely use it. Right?
I use it for memes, bro.
Yeah, but that's primarily Angel Cabrera.
Perfect.
Low key, Nelson, I like the way you spell things. When you spell things to customers, you're like I is in igloo,
P is in Paul, C is in Charlie.
Yes,
yeah, man.
yes.
I do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You use very unique words when you spell things out to the customers.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, guys, that has been.
Wait, how can they connect with you?
Whatever comes up here, you'll see it. Montana Method Mindset Instagram, Montana Method Mindset podcast, Montana Method Mindset on Instagram and TikTok, and Montana Method on YouTube. So thank you guys for connecting. This has been a historic podcast. First time I ever had multiple guests. The GMC takeover has been completed. Have a great one, guys. And like I always say, push it to the limit. The world is yours. And if you're not chasing a dream, life is meaningless, guys. Until the next one.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.